Hello all, my name is Karen Wilkutz with the North Lake Tahoe-Truckee Leadership Program, and we are welcoming Carla Embertson here to talk about her candidacy for the town of Truckee, the town council. So we've decided to do this because so many of our leadership alumni are running for offices this year, and so we wanted to give you all the opportunity to meet them, get to know them, and find out a little bit about them. So welcome, Carla. How are you?
Good. Good evening, Karen. Thanks for having me, and good evening, everyone. I'm proud to be a 2013 alumni of the leadership program, and it's always great to come back and talk to leadership and stay connected with everybody. So many great results have come out of the program through ideas, and it's so nice to see it still going on.
Well, we welcome you back. It's lovely to see you. So I'd like to ask you some questions. And the first one is, could you tell us a little bit about the Town of Truckee Council, the makeup, how it works? And yeah, we'll start there. Tell us about it.
So the town incorporated in 1993 as a town, and that was to bring in local control over a lot of the decisions that are made over land use, road maintenance, code compliance, transit issues, building, and put it under local control. So how that was formed is Truckee is governed by a council manager form of government. There are 5 elected members of the town council. The town council, then they run overlapping. So this year there are kind of 2.5 seats, and I'll explain that in a minute, open, but there is never the full council in one election. There's always some overlap in the council. It's 5 of us. The town council appoints the town manager, who acts as the CEO. So he's really the head of having all the departments functioning in the town. That's as opposed to a strong mayor, where a mayor is elected specifically to do that. Our mayor and vice mayor are determined every December after the election from among the 5 that are on the town council. And in fact, today, I believe our town council is choosing our next town manager, doing the final interviews at least. So for those of you who want to get involved, there are numerous committees as well that the town has to allow people to get involved in their sphere of interest and to report that back to the town council. And the council uses that in making our decisions. Input is always welcome. As a council member, you can always reach out to me. There's a lot of people who are not comfortable going to town council meetings or standing up, or they're not particularly fierce keyboard warriors. And I want to hear from those people as well. You can attend town council meetings. It's the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays of every month at 6. Right now, they're using a Zoom format, but they're still allowing for public input. And each of the town council members appoints a member of the planning commission. So that's another major factor in picking a council member. So.
Can you tell us, sorry, I had to unmute myself.
That's okay.
Can you tell us a little bit about the difference in this election between the 2-year position that you are running for and the 4-year positions that are?
Yes. Thank you. I did say I was going to mention that. I said 2.5 seats because 2 years ago, Morgan Goodwin was elected to a 4-year term. And he moved out of town shortly after that. So Tony Commendatore was appointed to fill his seat until the next election, which is this year. So now there's myself and one opponent running for the remainder of the 2 years that would be the end of his term. So there's 2 of us running for 2 years, and then there are 7, including, I know of at least 1 leadership alumni, but there are 7 running for 2 open 4-year seats.
Great, thank you. That was a little unclear to me why there was a 2-year and a 4-year, so thank you for describing that. I appreciate that, because I think if I was wondering a little bit, then there must be other people who are wondering what the 2-year.
Right, yeah, it's just finishing up a term. Normally, it is all 4-year terms, so.
Right, and you said that a couple of seats are up for election this time, but not all 5, so that there's some overlapping.
Correct. Anna Klopstadt and Dave Pallavi's term is not over for another 2 years. They're just halfway through their 4-year term. So
Great.
they'll remain on the board, and there'll be three new faces on there in December.
Fantastic. Okay, my next question for you, Carla, is what are some of the most pressing issues that the town of Truckee are facing?
I think the most pressing issue by far is the fact that we are growing. Our local workforce is trying to grow, but there's a lack of affordable housing, minimal amount of workforce housing available. And we are going to be approving the 2040 general plan within the next 2 years, which is really why I'm running, because all the other issues come the building and what that plan being passed is going to look like. Other issues like transportation and all of that depends on how the plan is passed and how the building plan goes. So my platform, if you've seen my sign around town, is preserving the past and building the future. And do I have a minute to kind of explain what I mean by that? So Truckee is, as we all know, a really, really special place to live. And it's special not just because of Donner Lake or we're close to Lake Tahoe, it's special because of the community that we have. We have a rich sense of history, but we also have a rich sense of really being there for each other as Truckee residents. I know in the last 23 years, the phrase always comes up, you know, they're Truckee's own. It's, you know, we have to be there for one of our own. And we really are. The town supports our people, whether it's good times like the Olympians or state championships or service organizations, or when someone needs support, like when Brian Collins was tragically killed in 2014. The street was lined with people with flags. And, you know, in raising funds for Jocelyn Brown recently, we've just always been there for each other. And that's what I mean by preserving the past, because just because we're growing and we've got new people coming in doesn't mean we want to lose that. We want to save what I think is what makes us unique and special. And in building the future doesn't mean that I want to clear cut every tree in the world and throw up a bunch of buildings, as has been insinuated. I'm not. We are going to have to build. We have to address affordable housing. We have to address our workers being able to live here and work here. But to me, we also have to take into account how that building is going to affect the people that are already there, living their lives, living in their residence that they've worked hard for, their neighborhoods, their communities, and how is that new building going to affect them and affect the new people that are moving into it. Because you don't want to make it an already contentious situation if half of the people are already mad before it happens. And I want to get a coalition of people in town, residents, shareholders, and take a look at what some creative solutions are. Truckee is such a special place to raise children. I raised my son here, and he's back, and his friends are back raising their kids. And again, it's community, but it's also because they made lifelong friends here. And we have an area where kids can go outside and play with their friends and have neighborhoods, and that's kind of rare these days. So we want to take a look at that when we're building too. A lot of times I hear workforce housing, and it's almost said with an assumption that they're all single 20-somethings and they're fine with the studio apartment or having roommates, but there's a lot of young families. There's retirees included in that. And so I think we want to look at what is open to make communities and neighborhoods for them as well, where their kids can go out and play and have grass to play with and ride their bike and not have to have their moms take them to the park, which, while a great asset, is not really the growing up in Truckee ideal way to do it. So it's going to take some creative outside the box solutions, but we can do it. We're Truckee.
It sounds like you have a nice view of wanting to keep Truckee, you know, the beautiful mountain town that it is. But you do understand that, you know, there are more people in this world, and so we're all growing. And but I like the idea that you want to have a lot of people at the table to get a lot of the voices, so that you can come up with ideas that that are going to work for a lot of the people. I'm not going to say everybody because that's impossible, but a lot of
it's impossible. Yes, yes, but you never know where the best idea is going to come from. Right. And so I want to listen to everybody's ideas. I want to listen to GPAC. I want to listen to our residents. I want to listen to our homeowners associations. I want to listen to the shareholders in town and say, this will work, this won't work. I'm happy with this, I don't like this, and see what we can work out. And so we don't have an us versus them type of situation evolve. Right.
Yeah, this will be a great opportunity if you're elected for leadership program alumni. I know, plug the leadership program, but
absolutely
good opportunity for the leadership program alumni to get involved too. So that's good. I have more questions for you.
Sure.
Could you tell us a little bit about yourself? And that's going to segue into, you know, what will convince us.
You mean I haven't already?
Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
I've been fortunate enough to be in Truckee for 23 years. I raised my son here. And from the beginning, I got involved, started out with PTO, and I was president of Boosters and did the Safe and Sober Grad Night, and have worked on numerous different nonprofits. I've worked with Seroptimus. I volunteer at the Warming Center, and just been really involved in town. I'm the immediate past president of Glenshire Homeowners Association as of last week, so I'm still getting used to saying past. And in doing that, I was also on the short-term rental committee. And we had to deal these last 2 years with a lot of the same issues the town did. In terms of budget changes, revenue changes, working to keep residents safe, and what does that look like, and facilities, and rearranging what we thought 2020 was going to look like. And making decisions that were the best for the most people. Like you said, not going to make everybody happy, but you have to look at what is the most cost to benefit ratio and really get the most, I guess, most bang for the buck, but not just money wise. I'm not just talking money. I'm talking about what decisions make the best sense for the most. We have 1,300 residents. And, but we were also able to accomplish a lot. We became certified as a Firewise community during the 2 years, which is huge. And we didn't just stop there, because Glenshire itself is just one of many homeowners associations in what the town thinks of as Glenshire. So we formed a coalition with the other homeowners associations in the area, Elkhorn Ridge, Juniper Hills, the Meadows, all of them that everyone thinks of as Glenshire. And we all worked together, got the Firewise certification, do the defensible space cleanup so that the whole area is safer from wildfire. And so proud of that. And what I really found is, in doing all of that, the most important thing comes back to what we were just talking about, is listening to people. And I worked for the chamber for 8 years. I'm an independent business woman. I own a travel agency. Have a little bit of free time on my hands right now, but but that's good. It lets me concentrate on some other things. So I have the experience of seeing a lot of different viewpoints of trucking, and I really am running with only one agenda, and that is to make sure that Truckee continues to be the best town it can. I'm not running with an agenda of any one issue or directing it to one solution. I want the best solution.
Well, that sounds wonderful. I want to, we're going to continue on, but I want to open up the chat for if anybody in the audience wants to type a question out in the chat, please do so. And in the meantime, we're going to continue on. I want to ask you, Carla, I know that you have your website. Can you tell us a little bit about your website and how to get involved in your campaign, and what you are looking for? And I know that volunteers are welcome, and so can you tell us a little bit about your website, how to get in touch with you, that kind of thing?
Sure, and thank you. That's the way to a candidate's heart, especially this year, because this year's election is unlike any other we've ever had. We can't go knocking on doors. We can't shake hands and kiss babies. There's no Good Morning Truckee or chamber mixers or fundraisers, any of the normal ways that we get to know people. So my website is carlaembertson2020.com. All of my contact information is on there, and on the home screen, there's 3 big buttons: volunteer, donate, please, and endorse. I also got some handouts. I'm glad they came today because I'm able to show everybody, that are just kind of palm size. They've got my picture and contact information on the front and my candidate statement on the back. So they're not hard to carry around. If you're supporting me, they're easy to put in your pocket or your purse and hand out to people and say, this is who I think would be great for the 2-year term. Here's a little information. Here's her contact information. And I've got yard signs available, and campaigns always appreciate donations, especially now to try and get the word out. And I love volunteers too.
I'm curious, you said something. Tell me about the work that you've done with the Truckee Chamber.
So I worked predominantly at the downtown, at the California Welcome Center. I also coordinated several of the candidate forums, ironically. I will tell you it's easier on the backside than it was last week in the hot seat, But put those together, helped with some of the special events that the chamber does, the Pandora's auction at the awards dinner for several years, and just working with our visitors in town as well as our business community.
So yeah, being downtown at the train station means that you are in the middle of everything, doesn't it?
It definitely see all of our visitors. That's for sure. And realize the importance of our downtown merchants as well, and how viable that downtown area is, and how strongly we need to keep it that way.
Oh, I can't wait until next year when Truckee Thursdays are back.
Right, exactly.
You mentioned that you that you ran candidate. Sorry, I'm not thinking of the word right now. But so next time in 4 years, I'm going to ask you to help me do all of this.
You got it. Perfect. You got it.
So we do have a question. Would you be willing to talk about your views on Measure K?
Sure. In general, I prefer a special tax over a general tax, because that really funnels it into the purpose that it was developed for. And I know Measure K was primarily developed to help with affordable housing issues. I understand why it was put in as a general tax, and that does give us a little more leniency in how it can be used, because as I said, the building and the housing affects everything. So I am in support of Measure K. I think it's great that it's coming out of TOT and it's being paid for that way as opposed to a property tax addition. And I strongly think it will pass. I have not heard too many people against it. So I think it'll be a great source of revenue to help us fund some of the projects to solve some of our issues.
Great. I'm just going to ask if she wants to ask a follow-up question. If I can spell that correctly. So let's talk about ballots. People are going to get ballots in the mail pretty quickly.
Pretty quickly. They are supposed to be mailed out, I believe it's October 5th. And the actual election day is November 3rd, the first Tuesday of November. You have from the time you receive your ballot through election day to get them back in. There are drop boxes. I know at least at Town Hall that there is a locked drop box where you can drop them off if you're not comfortable sticking them in the mail. If you do mail them back, if you put a stamp on them, that makes them first class mail instead of bulk mail. I know that there's a lot of concern about that. So I personally always take mine to Town Hall and vote. But
yeah, I think that's a nice way around. If you're just a little uncertain about putting it in the mail, you can drop it off at Town Hall. So that is near the Truckee Airport. I don't know the address off the top of my head, but it's on Airport Road, and they'll have a drop box there. I have a feeling you could probably go to townoftruckee.com for more information about that drop box. Is that correct?
I'm sure that it will be there. The Town Hall is right where Soaring Way comes into Airport Way. You can't miss it. It's a huge building with Town of Truckee, and they always have it very well signed where the drop box is.
Yeah. Near the new Rayleigh's.
Yes.
I know, I like that store. Well, let me, Carla, is there anything else that we haven't covered? Any questions that I should have asked you that I've passed over. We know how to get a hold of you.
Know how to get a hold of me.
Know how to-
I think that's
That's what we wanted to cover.
pretty much what we want to cover. That I just want to bring all the voices together and hear the best solutions and keep my mind open and take your voices to the town councils so that they can be considered and we end up with the best solution for Truckee.
Great. Wonderful, Carla. It's so nice to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I want to tell the audience that we have invited other candidates to talk to us throughout the rest of this week and into next week. So just go to Tahoe-Truckee-leadership.com for more for the schedule so that you can hear more of these. Oh, Carla, go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just going to reiterate that it's carlaembertson2020.com has all of the information and how to get in touch with me.
Perfect. Well, thank you all for joining us today. It was wonderful to see everyone. And this recording, I'm going to give it to Carla. We're going to also put it up, try and put it up on Facebook and our website so that you can watch it again and share it with your friends. So I want to
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I want to say goodnight to everyone, and it was wonderful to see you.